Welcome to today's live. Today I wanted to talk about the lockdown, something very topical at the moment. I wanted to talk about lockdown and about how it's currently easing. So, a lot of I've noticed. Okay, let me rephrase. Start again. So, as much as at the moment, lockdown is starting to happen since the 4th of July, we can go out, shops are reopening, which is brilliant, especially for small businesses that have been deprived of clients for months now. But I've noticed that around me, I've got some people in my family and who are actually quite anxious about the idea of the lockdown easing and of going back out again and going back into the new normal, as we're getting to call it. So I just wanted to come live today to talk a little bit about some advice that I could have some suggestions maybe of what to do to kind of start going out again if you're feeling anxious and if you're getting a little bit of social anxiety about it. The first thing I would say, so there's really four things that I want to talk about. And the first thing is to start by being kind to yourself, because that's where you've got to start. I know that even if you see that the majority of people are excited about the lockdown easing, if it doesn't feel right for you, if you feel anxious about it, if you feel worried about it, it's fine. That's just the way you are, and you need to be kind to yourself. You need to accept that, try and make your peace with it, and maybe do some journaling around that. So either typing or writing it down. I mean, I've started journaling during the lockdown. Actually, I've never done it before, and that's something which I've discovered recently. And it's just sitting for 5 minutes and just writing everything that comes through my mind. It does help, when you've got lots of thoughts, sometimes anxious or negative thoughts, just writing them down gets them out of your head and gives you a clearer mind about that. So I would say the very first thing really is, if you're feeling a bit anxious about it all, be kind to yourself, accept that you're feeling anxious, and work from there. It's no good trying to just block the simple fact that you're anxious and that you don't want to go out, and that's that. And then the second thing, because we're all going to start going out, we're all going to start easing into it. So I would say the second thing would be to make sure that you start in baby steps. Just see what would be comfortable for you. Would it be comfortable for you to go out with a friend, or to meet in their garden, or to meet in your garden, or to go for a little walk around your area or along a park, or somewhere a little bit quiet, and maybe make plans with that one person, and be very honest with them. If you're feeling anxious, you can tell them, say, look, lockdown is easing, I'm going to start coming out, I'm still feeling a bit worried about it, shall we do that together, shall we go for a walk? And it's the whole thing about a comfort zone, because I found that I've really enjoyed lockdown, in a weird way, having that extra time because there was no commuting, no school runs. So having that extra time, and that time where there wasn't anything going on really, so I could do what I wanted. I could read, I could do more yoga, and I could do some baking, and I really enjoyed that. So I've kind of, I think we've all done that. We've all found things that we enjoyed in the lockdown and build a little bubble around that, a little comfort zone. And now we're being asked to forget about that and to go out into the real world. And if you've built that comfort zone and you're really, really happy there, it can be quite uncomfortable. And the whole idea of getting out of a comfort zone, no matter what the area could be, just in getting out of the house, or it could be in work, in the work environment, getting out of a comfort zone for everybody feels uncomfortable. It feels a bit nerve-wracking. So if you're honest with your friends, if you say where you're coming from, they can relate. We've all had to do that at some point or other. We've all had to push past our comfort zone to learn something new, to do something new. So don't be afraid if you decide to start venturing out with a friend to be really clear and really honest with them and say, look, this is where I'm coming from. You know, will you, in a way, metaphorically hold my hand and help me out a little bit? So that's the second thing. So be kind to yourself and um, do little baby steps and go out. And if you find that at the moment of going out, at the moment when you've done the plan, you're ready to go, and then just as you're getting to the door, you don't want to, again, accept that and acknowledge that. And maybe if you've got the time, if it's just by yourself, maybe write it down, try and see what the thoughts are. Maybe just talk to yourself, you know, talk about it. Okay, what's going on? What am I so afraid of? Um, is there a way that I can get around that? And if you've organized to go out with a friend, then call that friend and again have that conversation. Say, oh, look, this is what is going on in my head at the moment. You know, can you help? What do you think we could do? And see if you can find a solution to go out or do some kind of compromise. You know, if you had set yourself to go out for half an hour, say, okay, that feels a bit much. I'll go out 15 minutes and I'll come back. You know, just try and take that little step out to break out of that maybe that new social anxiety that you've developed if you've enjoyed being at home really too much in a way. And the third thing is, once you've done that, once you've taken that step, you've gone out, I would say treat yourself, because you've done something really, really big. Even if it might not look like it, you were afraid, you went past it, and you did it. You know, there's a book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's a brilliant book, actually. And it's exactly that. Even if for some people it doesn't matter and they can get out of the house and go shopping for a day, for you, if it's a big deal, just say, yeah, you know, I've gone out, I've done that, and then treat yourself. Do something that's nurturing, that makes you feel good. So read a book, have a bath, have something yummy to eat. Do something that for you feels good, to kind of give yourself a little pat on the back for getting over it and for going out. And then from a more yoga point of view, I would say that developing mindfulness would be very helpful, because anxiety, as I've come to learn, because that's what brought me to yoga. I had anxiety and that's what got me to yoga. And mindfulness is the idea of really focusing on what's going on at the moment. And anxiety comes from thinking about the future and worrying about what might happen. That's what causes the anxiety. So if you manage to rein that in and to focus in on the moment, then the anxiety will slow down and will be quieter in your mind. Now, at a moment when you really are feeling anxious, starting to be mindful is probably the very last thing you want to do, because you want to get away from your brain, you want to get away from that feeling that you're in. So I would say with the mindfulness, try and practice when you're nice and calm, nice and relaxed. And it's a bit like a muscle, you know, like you go to the gym to build up muscle tone. With mindfulness, you train your brain to focus on one thing at one time. And it's not something that we do. Normally, we do one thing and our mind is already planning something else or thinking of something that's happened in the past. So is that practice, maybe a little bit of every day if you can, to pick something, one thing to focus on. And for a set amount of time, starting small, starting with 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever feels manageable, just focusing on that one thing. And if your mind goes away from it, then gently bringing it back. And a lovely practice that I would suggest is focusing on a rock or a flower or a tree. So something from nature, something pretty, something that really calls to you. And you can do that going for a walk. You know, you can go walk in a wood and come across a tree that you particularly like and just stay there for a couple of minutes, just looking at it, but really looking at it, like noticing the colors, And looking at the leaves, noticing the way that the light plays in the color of the leaves, noticing the texture, noticing maybe the smell if you're outside. If you're looking at a flower inside, just look at the petals and see how the color might change, from one edge of the petal to the center, for example, and really look at that thing, flower, rock, tree, as if you had absolutely never seen it before. And just take your complete awareness, your complete attention to it. And it's a lovely thing to do. And at the beginning, you will find that your mind wanders away and that you need to bring it back, and keep doing it, keep bringing it back. And by doing that, you're building that mindfulness, which means that as you practice, when you come to actually needing it because you're about to do something and the anxiety comes up, you will be more able to tell your mind to be here. So no, this is what I'm doing now. And you will be more able to let go of the anxiety, let go of those thoughts that have got nothing to do to what is really happening at the moment. So the practice of mindfulness, little by little, it's no, overnight miracle, far from it. But little by little, it does work. And it's the kind of things that you do it and it doesn't seem to do anything for you. And then 3 weeks down the line or a month down the line, you've got a situation that usually would have made you really anxious. And that actually you're dealing with it in a better way. And that's when you think, hold on, this is working, so this is worth it. So try and do that. Try and do some mindfulness practice. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was looking after yourself, self-care. That's the one thing that GPs, consultants, friends have told me for years while I was really struggling with my anxiety. It was make time for yourself, do something that you enjoy. And it took me years to learn that actually it might not look like it's related, but when you look after yourself, when you do stuff that you enjoy, that you do it for you, you're actually telling yourself that, yeah, you're valuable, you're worth it. And anxiety, deep down, comes from the fear that we're not good enough to face up to life and to what life is going to bring to us. And by doing those acts of kindness towards you, you are building up in your mind that idea that you're worth it. You're building up your self-esteem. And with a stronger self-esteem, you feel that you can do things, you can handle things. And as that starts building up inside you, you will find that the anxiety starts decreasing. Again, it's no amazing overnight miracle, but it is worth doing because it does work. It took me years to learn it, to learn that actually looking after myself is important, and that the time I take for myself is going to help me to look after the other people around me and to do my job properly and to function properly, really. So being selfish from time to time is actually not a bad thing. So there we go. Those are my tips. So if you're struggling a little bit with the end of lockdown and with trying to get back out again, I would say start by being kind to yourself, by accepting where you are and the feelings that you've got at the moment. And then start with baby step. Make a plan, call somebody if you want to do it with a friend, and be very honest. If you want to, if you'd rather do, keep it all in yourself and just go out with a friend without telling them what the issue is, that's fine. Just see what works for you. But yeah, find baby steps to do and to start getting out there. And then practice mindfulness, because little by little that will help you be calmer and help you handle those challenges and that flow, those changes in life more easily. And then lastly, I would say, look after yourself, treat yourself, do things that you enjoy and that will build up your self-esteem and build up that resilience and that ability to deal with with what life throws at you. So there we go. That's it for today. I hope that was helpful. I hope you're going to find that helpful for you. And I wish you a lovely week. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.